Collectivity for this beautiful song and also for giving us the power, to make use of it. See, thanks for the support for this. Yes, yes, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday, happy Easter, happy Easter Eve to everyone. Wonderful time indeed. An opening, a beginning for us. So the thing is, like, we are so grateful, for you know, for all. You see, for all that is. Okay, one sec. Yes. Bum, bum, bum. We are so grateful for all, things that is, presented to us, given to us. And in life, the best things are always free for a great purpose, for a great reason, and we are finding out why. And more, you see, we tend to overlook things such as bread and others just because we do not pay for them. We tend to, overlook them or to take them for granted or something like this. But of course, so long as those among us who are learning, evolving, are getting to understand, you see, the life better, we can only help, guide the way to those who have yet to come to the realization of the beauty of self, you see. So it's a wonderful time. As always, we thank the ancestors for having brought us to this day. You see, the Sunday is Easter. So, happy holidays to all those who celebrate under whatever title or name or culture you may. It is great time indeed. A new year, a new start, a new day, a new dawn for all, you see. And happy birthday to Mother Earth, indeed. So what it is, it's like, you know, what would I say? Today, literally, we gonna somehow share a little something, 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 a little jewel that we found, on the tube and stuff like this. That in the midst of the podcast today, or of the conversation, we're gonna share it and elaborate on it a little bit, because our job is to listen to each other and then propagate what is wholesome, and then reverberate, or reassemble, or complete what may not be, or something like that. It's not a thing of, okay, shots or whatever, because trust me, when it comes to the collective, no one is too important, really. And I've learned that. You see what I mean? Even myself, you see, at time, I had to drop that idea of the one, and instead understanding it as, the potential. You see, one can be anything. It can be a people. It can be a group, a tribe. It can be, a nation. It can be anything. You see what I'm saying? So what it is, it's like, but of course, the more we understand, the more we share. And we also give the advice to those who trust us, and the lovers indeed, that even those who challenge due to their misunderstanding or something like this, not to see it as an attack or anything like that. Instead, see it as something that comes to filter, you know, the voice or the being or whatever the purpose is. You see, because we've been bamboozled so many times and for so long, that of course people are gonna be most, you know, you know, untrusty or untrusting or whatever. You see what I mean? We just gotta understand where they're coming from. We cannot just tell them, okay, jump shape. Like when every time they jump shape, they end up, you see, somewhere they did not expect. You see? But of course, so long as they have a little brain left, or so long that they have a little bit of understanding, or so long as they have some common sense, they will be able to use that more and more. You see what I mean? And then discern, if it's a shape that is worth it or not. That's good, not judgment. Of course, we speak, we don't throw away judgment, but we say throw it on self. But of course, we need to discern before we judge shape, whatever. So, which is why anytime you see us coming back to say something, if it sounds like we throwing that or whatever, just see it as, adding our own piece or our own self or our own print into it, so that it may serve us fully. Because it's about us guiding ourselves. Let's say I say something, and then you may find a little something in it, but if you see a lot of things that do not resonate with who you are, or the level of consciousness that you are on, which is your job to protect or something, then of course you have to speak to yourself, and remind yourself, or add to the message whatever it may not have served you or something like this, and bring it to wholeness or something like that. You see what I mean? But we have to leave behind the attitude of competition, thinking, okay, the world is out to get us and stuff like that, because once we move this way, then everything is going to seem this way. You see, wherever the mind goes, the energy follows. You see, we have to be very careful, especially in these times, because we are moving in heart center, mankind itself, have not yet collectively reached such level. We have been vibrating on the lower realms for so long. You see, there are three realms of all you need is survival. Whatever you do, you gotta do to survive. You do. No judgment, meaning the world don't give a damn what you do to make it, so long as you make it. You see, but now it's a different thing. It's beyond survival. You see, we're entering the space where we come face to face with the Most High. You see what I mean? So now the best thing we can do is whatever used to serve will not serve, or let's keep it easy. Let's say may not serve, and leave it to you to discern. You see? So what it is, it's like if it may not serve, so now of course discernment comes into place. You have to know, like think about it, and you rely on your own light, on your own self to see what is and what is not. You see what I mean? But whatever happens, if you did not master your own emotional self or something like this, then in this time you will be like a ball on the table, you see, or something like that, which is not a position you want to be in. That's why it's so important to already have mastered this self, you see, and understand what it's for and how to navigate with it or something like that. You see what I mean? Because we cannot, like before, tame people. Before we set to tame people, because you know it's about, we have to create laws like First Amendment, whatever, blah blah blah. You don't need to protect the mouth or something what he has to say. But in the end, you see, now it's something else. It's like, emotions, like the emotional self, or even the lady self or the feminine self or something like this. It speaks its mind. You see what I mean? It's not about if it feels it, it's gonna wanna express it or something. So the best is not to seek to tame it. Of course, we gotta tame what is not wholesome or something. But if it is in a wholesome space or something, and it feels like it needs to say something, we have to learn to listen. And so that's literally facing the storm, really, in an aspect or something like that. We have to let her speak her mind. And Sister Osset even mentioned that yesterday in this powerful message that she released yesterday or something like this, when we want to tell the young feminine what to say and what to do or something like this, and we want to speak for the young feminine energy. but we do not want to allow it to express itself or something like this, which is not really the right thing because the feminine comes to serve. You see, I mean, he has to serve, and in the beginning was the word. He cannot serve without the word. You see what I mean? That's what it is. So we have to listen and just take in whatever it has to say. And then if it's calling for guidance, we may present that. But if it's calling to guide, then we take the guidance. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. Every situation either calls the master himself or it calls the student himself. Discern and know what that is. You see what I mean? So the thing is like basically it's somehow you see it's beautiful time, and we wanna continue from the one yesterday. You see what I mean? We know we say things at times that that hurt us because not that I identify as black because obviously I'm not like my beard is or my hair or something like this, but I am not. And of course, I'm not my beard and I'm not a crayon or something to be identified with color. You see what I mean? Of course, the nationality, this, that, all that makes up a man. You see what I mean? So the thing for those who have not yet know self to that degree, when we say black or whatever, meaning it's something that does not exist, we may say that it is, you know, it's we said that it does not serve or it is not capable of leading the world. Of course, it's gonna ruffle the waters for the weak minds and the hearts that are weak or something like this or who have yet to learn or something. But we cannot depend on weaknesses for too long. We have to stand on the rock, on the strength. You see, not on the cries of the little energies of self and stuff like that. So the thing is like, why did we say that? Because we like to connect first episode to second. It's because if your mind couldn't guide you or your heart couldn't guide you to the understanding, then we are here with the word to do that for you. But you are the best guide to yourself. Of course, listen to your heart, and even if your heart say to listen to what I'm saying, listen to that as well. You don't stop listening to your heart if it says listen to someone or something. So the thing is like basically I said it, it's because I am the type that like to look at the reality for myself instead of being told what it is, right? So all these times when in the past when everybody was going out for self, doing survival, I transcended. I had to transcend, or speaking for myself. But of course, I'm not the only one. But I'm not that arrogant to speak for others because they have their uniqueness, and of course, they already know and they have the platform doing what they do. So what it is like I literally, you see, like tamed myself, though I was surviving like everyone, but I had to create the ratio within self to see, okay, how much is gonna go towards survival and how much is gonna go towards empowering self or something like this. And then I chose 1% survival and 99% empowerment, you see. It took me longer than most, those that are running to survive and stuff like this. Of course, they're gonna get further. But the minute that you empowered, whether they are further or not, it's if you empowered, then the road becomes so easy that it's about time that you will surpass those who are ahead if they were not balancing their own selves or something, their own energies in their own will. So what it is like basically we said, okay, we're gonna go with empowering self matter, but obviously they do because as hard as it was, we had to stay afloat. But once you are empowered, then everything else shall come forth or something like that. You see, anything that you disregard will run after you because that's how life is, like a lady. You run after it, it will run from you. You run from it, it runs after you. You see what I mean? So the thing is like since we know that, you see what I mean, so that we did not really worry much, though we did, you see. It's scary on that path, you see what I'm saying? But it took, strength and self trust and all these things, you see what I mean, to stay on that path. anyone who have ever walked that path understand exactly what I'm talking about. So what it is like we realize the problems that we face in society as we seeing things for ourselves and stuff like this. You see, then after we recognize that we are the problems, every one of us, me, you, anyone, is not exempt. Then of course we are the one to transmute ourselves and become the solution. So what it is, we realize, okay, one of the problem most people were talking about is something about white supremacy, let's say. White supremacy seeking to control the world, blah, 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 this and that, everybody's against it. And then, even those who were so-called white or something like this thought they were safe, and then they found out, we were all in the same, under the same, on the same boat or whatever. So now we trying to come together because, you know what I mean? But, togetherness is something, it has to be prior to certain things. The minute that you come, you may be a little late, but it's never too late to do the right thing, of course. You see what I'm saying? So what it is like we realize, okay, some people come with certain solution, you see, and they say, okay, if we want to fight white supremacy, we have to come with black supremacy. But we realize it is not black supremacy or white supremacy that is the solution. That needs to go is supremacy itself. You see what I mean? The thing is like, that's why when we say that, because we cannot be that retarded, you see, to think if it doesn't work, just change the color and then it will work. You see what I mean? I cannot really go too deep to explain it so well or something like this, but I'm saying enough for you to do the work for yourself, you see, because we trust that everyone is equipped with a brain. Of course, they can think for themselves. Specifically if they have a little help or a little, boost of understanding or something like that. So the thing is like, basically we just say it's not the way to go. We're not choosing leading this or whatever leaders for the world or whatever is that it's be. But all we're saying is that, you see, changing something, the same thing, and add a different color to it. You see, just like, United States may have had different names before, they change it many times, you see what I mean, and call it a different name over and over. Many great corporations do that. They change the name, but the same leader behind it, you see what I mean? And then they continue the same type of work, you see? That's what it is. We are human beings, you see, there's only one race, and this is the human race. So just because we shifted from one to the other, doesn't mean it's gonna change, because the sentiment the same, is supremacy. One think it's superior over the other, and which is not, what life is about. There's no such thing, you see. So what the thing is that we have to see if blacks, let's say if blacks, let's say we would say they are, or we are mothers and fathers of civilization. So, or we are the mothers and fathers of the home. So, what kind of leaders would we be when we do not present anything new, except that we want to take the same baton of leadership that the children were running with, and then we just take it on just because we have it in our head now, it's better, but it's nothing changed. You see what I mean? So it's just ego, sense. That's what that was gonna happen anyway. This is you don't have to think to get to that position, because it's gonna happen automatically. You see, you've been oppressed or whatever this and that, so now you wanna flip the table. You know what I mean? You change the hand of oppression. That's literally what that is. You see what I mean? But our job is to make sure that we dim the light of oppression completely, or destroy it. Maybe the energy cannot be destroyed, but let us transmute it, because what makes it what it is lack of understanding of self, lack of knowledge of self, and all of these things, and the world. So the best we can do is to give understanding and knowledge, where it's missing, so that we can transmute that energy, because it is able to transmute, but not possible to be, destroyed, because energy cannot be destroyed. Of course, we have to be a special kind of retards to think that it can happen. You see what I mean? So the thing is like this, which is why I say that. You see what I mean? But of course, I know, you see, it may hurt some people who feel like it's my turn now to shit on you or whatever, blah blah blah. You see what I mean? That's what's happening everywhere. You see, like those who've been raped or those who've been enslaved, now they feel like it's my turn to do the same or something, and then it's a cycle of monkeyness, something like this. Because once you take the position, then that it's only about time that it's gonna be taken over again and then over and then continuously or something like that. But we cannot afford to allow anything like this to happen, of course. You see what I mean? So, which is why we have to get together in understanding. When we understand things, we have to make sure we come together and strengthen that understanding so that the voice of stupidity doesn't get louder than the voice of reason. You see what I mean? Because like Einstein say, if I mean, the danger of the world is not those that are doing the stupidity or the monkeys themselves. It is the ones who know better, who sit and watch it happen silently or something like that. See, so we don't do anything. So what's the point of knowing or going through any journey if you cannot come back and present a solution to the situation? But of course, solution can never be revenge. It cannot never be, or based on you done this to me, I'm gonna done it back or whatever. Which is the right everyone have. You see, everyone has a right to do whatever the fuck they wanna do. Excuse my language. You see what I mean? We're not saying that you're not supposed to. You see what I mean? It's for you to do. You see. But the thing is, like, it's not everybody wants to relive something they did not enjoy. You see, just because it's a different color or whatever. You see what I mean? So if we or any group of people or something like this think they can do better than any other, they cannot come with the same sentiment or the same mindset, thinking it's gonna be differently done, because the literal meaning of such thing is literally insanity. There's no time for this anymore. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, basically, we cannot, allow that whatsoever, because it's not, we wouldn't be helping anyone to see better and not do better. You see what I mean? So we wouldn't help the blacks, we wouldn't help the whites, we wouldn't help anyone. You see what I mean? And then we gonna prolong stupidity because the whites who already learned that they are not superior or something like this, who already learned the certain things, who already learned whatever it is, then now they have to protect themselves from the monkeys or the monsters that they themselves have created. You see, I mean, the karma or the whatever, you see, I mean, the ripple effect of their own actions, is coming back to bite them in their ass or something like this. So the thing is, like, you see, they have to protect themselves, which is why they prepare mad weapons and whatever, blah, 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 because once you create the problem, you have to make sure you get ready for whatever is going to come from that. You see what I mean? So that's why you cannot blame anyone or whatever, blah, 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 but none of that is really is the highest of it all. And then anyone who stand against it is welcome to do so. You see what I mean? But make sure that you're bringing something better, because we may not want to, whatever, make anyone feel stupid. But if you are doing the job for yourself, then all we have to do is to be quiet and listen to you. And then everyone who have a little bit of brain left will see the stupidity, as clear as day. You see what I mean? That's why we say the ego is naked, because what we do, since we know how to tame ourselves and we know how not to make a fool ass of ourselves, then we seek to protect other people who don't know better from doing that to themselves. Because a lot of people, since the channels or the platforms, the open platforms, they give everyone a voice, and at the same time they recognize everything that is a gift also have a curse aspect to it. And the curse or the gift is not the platform itself, it is the being using the platform that's gonna make it whatever it is. So now they have to watch themselves and see what's gonna serve humanity or not, because it doesn't matter all the weapons prepared, because it's best for the warrior to be fully equipped and ready for war, yet find itself in the garden, instead of being at war and has nothing to fight. You see what I mean? But just because weapons are prepared, blah 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 blah, doesn't mean that they don't want a better solution for themselves. Because who really wants to fight? Don't you see anyone who fights? They always like to fight away from themselves. I mean, let's go, let's send the monkeys among us, or whatever, I mean, to go and fight, because they're not the brain, they are the arms and the toes and whatever. We have plenty of that, so we have to protect the brains and the heart. That's all we need for the body to exist. So, I'm speaking in code or something. So what it is like, once you do that, then now they send it away. Nobody likes to fight on their own turf, you see, because you want your turf to be protected, I mean, bordered and stuff like this, and beautifully running business as usual, as you are protecting the village away from the village and stuff like this. Only a stupid will bring war to itself. Even in the drug business before, when I used to study the mentality of the drug dealer and whatever it is, I would see that, you see, even Biggie would say, shout out to, Biggie or something. He would say that, you don't, you don't bring people, where you live, like that, the consumers and stuff like this, where you lay your head. That's a stupid thing to do. Same thing, you see what I mean? So that's what it is. So when people prepare, whatever, our job is to understand and stuff like this, and then see how we can stop the nonsense altogether. You see what I mean? Because nobody really wants to do all of that or something. Even the destruction or whatever it is, for me, I may say yes to the destruction of untapped energies and stuff like this. But that's because the energies, not the destruction, but the because you cannot destroy it, you can only transmute it or give it a new take or something like this. But it's because that's the and then come and show the better way. So that's what all of us are doing. Those that are like on the forefront of the spiritual guiding and stuff like that. You see what I mean? That I always name their names all the time for very precise reasons. So the thing is, like, somehow it's if it happens or something like this, then of course it's gonna be what it is. You feel me? Let me get my tea. Okay. You have no idea. You get dry quick when you start talking and stuff like that. So I miss the Facebook family. I hope they find their way here. If they have, I know it's a holiday, so we do not expect to have anyone to have. They have better things to do. You know what I mean, like eating and watching Netflix and with their families, and what I mean, and stuff like this. So we don't expect anyone to be here with us, but we're just gonna leave this in time. And whoever thought this was most important, then of course that already shows us who you are. So we welcome you and we thank you for your existence, even because your breathing is very crucial to our survival. So what it is that you see, I mean, that's what I say. That's why we had to let go of that friendly nonsense, because when we are the heart, you see, some people who don't know better or something, they think love is about being vulnerable. I mean, not about being vulnerable, but it's about being naive. You see what I mean? Love is never naive. You see what I mean? Even when we think love is making a mistake, it's not a mistake at all. You see what I'm saying? You feel me? So that's what it is. It's like we have a lot of shout outs to do today, because we love to give credit or recognition to those that we deem very important to our survival these days, so that we may magnify their energy and what they do and bring more of themselves or more power to them. So we wanna, before we continue, we wanna say that we send shout out to Brother Rose of London Real. You see what I mean? So, or some, whether he's aware of us or not does not truly matter, but some people who hear us may know of him, something like this, and then the word is in the ether, and then it doesn't need any immediate interaction, to do what it does. So the thing is, like, he released a message this morning, in England, where we were saying he was blocked on on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on different platforms and stuff like that. Which is what we always say. You see, as unfortunate as that is, because like he said, the brother, he always wanna do good things for us and stuff like this. He wanna do whatever he has to do to help humanity, and that the only reason I even know of him is because I see that, because I really do not waste my time at all. If I listen to someone, it's because I recognize, whether he said it or not, that he's trying to help one way or another. You see, but one thing we have to remember is that doing good, you see, is not enough. You see, to just achieve what we are trying to achieve. If we only based our actions on what it represent, like, okay, I'm doing good, so I shouldn't worry about. No, we still have to be strategic. We still have to be, you know, knowing, like, we have to know what we're doing and how we're doing it. We have to understand our reality, how it's working and stuff like this. Who's our friend, who's not our friend. And even the ones we say enemy are not greater enemies than we are to ourselves. And we have to be aware of all of that. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, which is why we always say, you see, I mean, like, we wanna, be guiding leaders and stuff like this or whatever, because of the same thing, because we recognize the power in what they're doing, but also we cannot help but recognizing the weakness in how they are doing it. You see what I'm saying? So now that's why we come as a solution, you see, because that's what men is, solution or problem. So if I cannot be a problem to London Will or anyone else, might as well be a solution to London Will or anyone else. You see what I'm saying? So we make our choices. So I love the brother. I love what he does. Obviously, I've been a subscriber. I've been following him. I've been sharing his work and whatever it is. You see? So now, but we don't like to say, aha, I told you, because of course no one can really see things for what they are most of the time. But at least we want to take this opportunity to remind each other, like, when we cannot understand why we say certain things, at least the nature itself will show, give us a reason to think twice about rejecting someone's words or uniqueness or whatever it is, or something that we do, thinking that we are safe by ourselves. You see what I mean? It doesn't work that way. You see what I mean? So the thing is, like, are they gonna like what you do all the time when you are doing it for them? Just like London Will, when he does that, it is serving the world. But of course, yet it gets black. You see what I mean? Because sometimes it's not what you say, is how you say it. We have to be aware of that as well. You see what I mean? So that's the thing. But when we are passionate doing what we do, and we're so trusting and loving what we do, then we lose ourselves into what we do, without we lose the mind part of things, and then just go with the heart. You see what I mean? But the heart itself always, if just like Sister Osset, oh, I love Sister Osset so much. Sister Osset say the true woman, or the true feminine, does not, gain gratification or ease into challenging the masculine. You see what I mean? It only challenges it if there's a need to. But if it's trusting the guidance of the masculine, it's gonna just melt itself into it. You see what I mean? And it's so true. And which is why the ancestors say, behind every great man is a great woman. Because you need that queen behind you to be a great king. You see what I mean? Whether your own queen or someone else's queen, so long as he has the interest of the all or the collective at heart, which is the title of the life challenging. You see, like, what, the feminine aspect of challenging. The heart is not here to challenge the mind. If your mind is telling you, watch what you say, you see what I mean? Don't be like, oh, I'm not gonna give a damn, like the women, I can do whatever. Nah. You see, you have to listen to your mind. You see, I mean, allow your mind to say its piece, because the job is not to completely shut one and then listen to the other and be biased or lopsided or something like this. It's to find a common ground between the two, the harmony, you see, so that they can work together in harmony or something like that, whether inside of you or outside of you. You see, because if it exists inside, it exists outside. You see what I'm saying? So we don't want these things to happen, and we cannot. That's why we tend the blame situation as well, because we know the next thing that's gonna happen is blaming. But as great of a man that he was not blaming you for what you do, blah blah blah. So that was the bigger man. You see, that's the beauty of being mature. You see what I mean? So that's the thing. We hope, you see, that if there's a lesson to learn, that he grow in himself and to understand better, and then once that is done, and we wish for him that all these platforms will take him off, find a way to bring him back, so long as he's not posing a threat to anything that he may not be aware of or something. Because sometimes we may be mad because why they do that, why they do, but you best believe they have a reason to do. Nobody really, unless you retarded, you do things for no reason. But everyone who's moving, leading anything, they have a reason to do everything. Our job is to understand where they're coming from and see why. And then the best thing, or maybe the heart or whatever in yourself, say, or go outside and do your thing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But at least look what the good, you see, understand. Always question things. Don't just jump with impulses and stuff like this and do things because, some type of parasite inside me said so, or some parasites in my brain said so. Not every thought is our own. You see, we have to take time and meditate on it and see where that comes from and see if there's any wisdom that it presents to us and, save ourselves from making a mockery of ourselves. You see what I mean? Because that, which is why we shared this morning, saying that la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, Arabic for no might, no power, except from the Most High alone. You see what I mean? Because black power is a delusion, so white power is. Because if, that's mathematics, if white power, one side of the equation is a delusion, so is black power. You see what I mean? So that's what it is. That's the way you have to move with maths, move with science, move with firmity or something like that. You see what I mean? So it's we have to understand. You see, and then somebody shared something about an African proverb also saying that you see that all those always confirm and make us firm in ourselves. As they confirm, it makes us firm in the way we are. Even the African proverbs say something about certain things may have power over you. To overlook that power is a mistake in itself. That's not the word exactly, but that's what it's trying to say. And we say thanks to everyone who's sharing these African proverbs or something because they are so powerful. You see what I mean? And we must share them and learn from them at the same time, not just sharing them, but ponder upon these words because they're not words of the fool, they're words of the wise. You see what I'm saying? People who've been there, done that, you feel me? So the thing is like basically, we want everyone to be safe to do what they do, but we also cannot be delusional or be naive thinking that just because we have good intentions, then everything else is okay. That's why no one can do it by themselves because as you are passionate in what you're doing, you're gonna overlook certain things. It's just like playing on the soccer field, playing whatever, blah blah blah. Many people who watch soccer or whatever sport, they will feel like, excuse me, they will feel like, oh my God, look how this player is doing this, blah, blah, blah. Because they're off the field, they feel like they can play better than the ones on the field. But the ones on the field is dealing with a lot of blind spots or something like this. They don't see it as you see it on the 2D screen, the whole thing playing in front of you. You see what I mean? That's why you think we were better player, you see. But obviously you're not, because if you were, you would be watching, they would be watching you, not you watching them. You feel me? So the thing is like basically, but we do that to ourselves. You see what I mean? That's why even the greatest comedians are the one who make fun of their own selves. You see, that's why we have to learn to judge ourselves. You see, because it's easy to do that when we look at others. You see what I mean? So that's why we call for understanding. You see, like we work together and stuff like this. You see what I mean? And we recognize there was a lot of noise in the background yesterday because we by the window and you see what I mean and stuff like this. We live in the biggest city the world ever known. You see what I mean, or something like this. So things like this may happen until the platform allow us to get a studio and and do things a little better. But what it is, but we beg you not to just focus on the on things that do not matter and do not allow noise to take your energy or your attention away from the goal or the important things. You see what I mean? And of course, with that being said, for you to understand something that's gonna speak volumes to you, is that gold in itself, you see what I mean, is not stupid for surrounding itself You see, I mean, with the clay or with a lot of carbon or something like that. You see, but the one who see value in the gold is the one that's gonna have to do the work. You see what I mean? To do the work to take off all the carbons and all the, shells and stuff like this. Just like we do with the bananas, we do with everything else. You see what I mean? If we see the value in the gold, then we know we can create jewelries and beautify ourselves and our families and our loved ones and stuff like this. We can use as ornaments in our homes and doing whatever we do with gold, even create monatomics, medicines, and stuff like this for ourselves. So long as we see the value, it's gonna now be take you to make use of that value. You see what I mean? Like, but because gold is not worried about it is gold in itself. It doesn't have to prove itself to anything or anyone. It put itself where it puts itself. It's because of a reason that you may not understand. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. All you have to do, if it is valuable to you, then you do what necessary it is to get it where you want it to be. But it is where it needs to be already. You see, because that it doesn't gain value to by being somewhere, you see, or anywhere it is valuable, it is gold nonetheless. Same with diamond. You see what I mean? Diamond, before you get all the shining, it's not because of you that diamond shine. It's because of your work with the diamond that the diamond shine for you. You see, but diamond already is shining in its own. Gold already is gold in its own. It does not need you to be gold. You see what I mean? But it needs you for it to work for you. You see what I'm saying? Or something like this. You feel me? So that means if whatever you see that is valuable, you have something to do with that. You have work to do if it's valuable to you. Anything that you see missing in it, let's say, all those clay over it or whatever, so do that work and get it off, because it's not seeing it as you see it as a problem. You see what I mean? It sees it as a protection. It sees it as a layer of protection, a layer of beauty even. You see what I'm saying? Just because you don't learn to see life as such doesn't mean it's gonna have to change itself. You see what I mean? But of course, when the gold is now shining, anyone can see what it is and then rob you of it, or whatever. You see all the other dangers that comes with that. You feel me? Life is beautiful and funny at the same time. So the thing is like, what it is just somehow we want to share something with you today. Of course, we wanted to say, our love, send our love to Brother Rose, you see, of London Real. We did that, and at the same time, we wanted to, what else? Okay, let's give our respect to the ones we may have hurt, the brothers and sisters who may have feel some type of way with the segment of wisdom, because wisdom is not always taken lightly or something. Not everybody's gonna like help or like truth or something. We may ask for honesty, we may ask for truth, we may ask for beauty, but when it comes, can we really handle it? You see what I mean? Because we have an idea of what that may be, but when it comes, you have to have it within in order to recognize it. That's why the work on self is so important. You see what I mean? But should we tame ourselves or change what we know to be fact just to appease to a little monkey or something like this? That will not, trust me, we're not ready to guide anyone. No, we are the worst monkeys, even, you see? But what we see is that the challenge, we welcome it, and we see it because when we see it, it shows us, okay, what needs to be said. You see, we need to elaborate, we need to explain ourselves, that's what the time is for, and we thank whoever gives time. So that's what it is. You see what I mean? So we learn to see the beauty in everything. That's why even I'm working on the cartoon. I hope I don't get too busy with what I'm saying, that I get to work on those things, because the cartoon is, there's a series in the cartoon, and that's why I wanted to work with Secret Energy too, because there's all sorts of talent, you know what I mean? And we have so many projects to work together. We want to bring that fun to that tribe, so that we can all have so much fun, because you see, I mean, put everyone to work and, liquidate on our talents and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying? So the thing is like that cartoon, the name of it is what it's the enlightened. There's the enlightened dummy that we're working on. It's like where we come and do some stand-up comedy. you know what I mean? Or it could be stand-up comedy at time when we are invited to speak or whatever, if that happens, or if anyone see value in our words or whatever and want us to say a word or whatever. And then after that, there's another part of it also that is a cartoon where it is about, what would I say? It is about uh, 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 um, um, he's guiding people or something like this. But as he's saying the things, he doesn't understand what he's saying. He just read them and then I say it, and then people are dying following his guidance and stuff like this because they sound good, and then he believes in itself as dumb as he is, and then things are falling around him and stuff like that. It's a funny, it's very funny. You see what I mean? Because we are literally what would I say? Jokers. We are literally clowns. You see what I mean? We bring laughter. Like where you wouldn't even know. And then another thing, okay, again, is another series of the same, another episode of it where the one that sees the title of that episode is the one that sees positive in everything, and that's a character too that can continue. And it's so positive that if some people are run from him because the first episode is gonna be people in a funeral, they lost their loved ones, and then there comes the one with the positivity that's gonna make you see the positive in the moment where everybody's just crying and stuff like this, and everybody runs because of that. Oh my God, there he comes! You see what I mean? So it's fun things, so whatever. So just to bring laughter, as we are saying important things at the same time. You see what I mean? So the thing is like, but we realize it's not easy work. It takes a team. You see, that's why thank God for Secret Energy. You see what I mean? That there's so many talent, and we hope to bring even more. You see what I mean? If we could, because for one project, the amount of people that have to work on it, even Secret Energy people that would vouch for that. There's this sister that they work with, this music video or something like this. She's such a great talent. I mean, or something like that. It's so many people had to be part of that project. Just to make one song video or something. And I know best on that because I've done the same, and I know how hard it is, to achieve. So it's such a beautiful thing, and we shared it on our page, as soon as it came out, because we were looking at the making and everything about it and enjoy the process and stuff like this. You feel me? So the thing is like, it takes a lot, you see, to do things, which is why we say it's when you see the goal, you have to. There's something that you call to do as well. Because it's not about, okay, you sit on your ass and wait for the food to cook and then you eat it. No, you have to participate in the cooking as well. You see what I mean? Those who don't have arms or whatever, blah, 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 you know what I mean? That's what it is. It's like, if you see value, then put your value into it, maximize it. You see what I mean? That's all it is. But don't judge it, you see, because you're not helping it. You feel me? So you're not even helping yourself. So the thing is like, so that we move forward right now, we want to share with you something, but we don't. Since we are on YouTube, we want to respect the guidelines. You see what I mean, and stuff like this, and the codes of the platform. So what it is, but we want to just share the voice over or something, but not the actual video of a great work, so that before we conclude, we can open up, plant a little seed of, 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 of thoughts in the mind as we go into the new day or new year, new dawn and stuff like this on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. One second. So the thing is, what would I say? You feel me? Yes, so we're gonna do that, and okay, give us 1 sec. We're gonna bring it forward. Okay. Okay. All right.
last longer? 1,000,000 years in which nothing happens, or 10 seconds with 50,000 events crammed into it? In other words, really time is only experienced by the events which occur within it. And I maintain that the early universe had very little going on, and consequently, time moved very, very slowly. The character of time as we approach the present is that there are more and more physical domains and energetic domains in which change can occur. For example, the early universe was a pure plasma, a pure swarm of unassociated electrons. You didn't even have atomic systems, let alone chemistry, molecular chemistry, life, complex speciated life, and dynamically balanced planetary ecosystems. Each one of those more complex phenomena crystallized out, or emerged, if you will, from the previous systems that had come into existence. So when I say time is speeding up, what I mean really is that more and more is happening. More and more is happening. More connectivity occurs now in a calendar year than occurred in 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years ago. So somehow, as we approach the present, we find ourselves in an ever denser realm of activity, interrelationship, connectivity, and the result of this is more of the same, producing a shrinking globe, ever more immersive technologies, dissolution of political, social, gender, and class boundaries of all sorts. So that's what I mean when I say the universe is speeding up. Before the advent of man, of human beings, the fastest changes on this planet of any consequence were genetic changes in the genomes of plants and animals. Well, biologists know that for a fruit fly to add a spur to its leg, for a bird to change its plumage, you need hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of years of evolutionary time. With the advent of human beings using spoken language, a new kind of possibility was born. It's called epigenetic change. In other words, change which is not about genes, but which is about languages, customs, behaviors of human beings. Epigenetic change reaches its dramatic culmination in speech, writing, and communication of all sorts. And so the carriers of epigenetic change, the human beings, are automatically then the carriers of accelerated novelty. And so when you look at, let's say, evolution on a coral reef, and you compare it, let's say, to the evolution of political ideas in modern Europe, obviously, modern Europe's rate of change in this domain is thousands of times faster. So by moving from the genetic to the epigenetic realm, we have vastly accelerated all kinds of processes. Now we appear to be about to move from the strictly human domain to the human-machine symbiosis domain. And of course, machines process information, make connections, and do their work at a rate thousands of times faster than any human being can work. So we see again a progressive acceleration of the process of creating and maintaining varieties of connectivity. If the universe is complexifying faster and faster, a time will come when this rate of complexification is occurring so rapidly that it will become itself the overwhelming phenomena in the world of three-dimensional space and time. And I call this the omega point, or the transcendental object at the end of history. And I believe it is not that far off, that with the emergence of global internet, a human population of several billions, an electronic noosphere, that we are now within the shadow of this transcendental object at the end of time. Our religions sense it. That's what gives them their apocalyptic intuitions. And I think the ordinary man and woman in the street sense a kind of built-in acceleration to time itself. Well, rather than dismissing that or treating it as a psychological perception or something unique to our society, I took it as a basic perception about physics, and have built elaborate, mathematically defined theories around this idea, and then have found, to my astonishment, incredible congruences with other work. I'm thinking of the Mayan calendar and its curious countdown-like quality toward an extremely unique event that the Maya felt would occur in the same time frame that my own equations predicted, even though at the time I was unaware of the Maya. So what we have here is a new model of time based on a very real intuition that I think most people share, which is that time is speeding up, that human beings are part of that process, and that the culmination of that process is now within the van of historical time. In other words, I believe it will happen in 2012, in December, coincident with the same events that the Maya placed at the end of their calendar. Even if I'm wrong, even if it's 100 years or 500 years later, these are still spans of time that, when compared to the life of the planet, are fractions of a percentage. So whether you believe, as I do, that we can know the precise moment of this transformation of the world of time, or whether you believe it is simply coming soon and fast, really doesn't make that much difference. We are all gathered here at the end game of developmental processes on this planet. We are about to become unrecognizable to ourselves as a species. Our technologies, our religions, our science has pushed us toward this for thousands of years without us awakening to what the denouement would be. Now we stand close enough to it that I think all but the most lumpen among us must feel the tug of the transcendental and the transformative.
All right, this was Time Is Up. Time is Speeding Up by Terence McKenna. Shout out to Terence, and shout out to After School. Subscribe to After School because they have a lot of great content on YouTube, though. You see what I mean? So I love them. I just came to know of them. I'm not sure if I was a subscriber before or something like that. You see what I mean? But I subscribe now. I don't know if they changed the name or if it is new, but they are doing the thing, and they recognize Terrence because he is a great one among us. Someone that is was so beautiful. You see what I mean? So as you can hear, what he was saying, how about time and us, and about evolution and things like this. So before we go, we want to just elaborate on that for a minute, you see, because the thing is like where the brother said, and time is speeding up, and human being is part of that process. But I wanna say, as it's he said that we want to think about, are we part of that process or are we the process? You see what I mean? Because if we see it as that we are part of that process, then there's a few things that is required of us, you see, or something like this that may be different than if we see ourselves as that process. For many, I may not make sense. But for one with a scientific mind or something like this, they will know exactly what I'm talking about or something like that. So the thing is like basically, it's just we want to see ourselves as the process because time is speeding up in relative of who and what time is. You see, just like Einstein was not wrong when he says time is relative. If it's speeding up, it's because we're moving too fast, not too wise. You see what I mean? We're moving fast, we're creating technology that bring things close, So where are we going? Why are we speeding up or something? Where are we going? What is, do we think we're out of time? Do we think there's a place to reach? Or why are we speeding up? Why are we rushing? And it reminds me of a verse in the Quran that says, Allah says, man is created in haste. You see what I mean? And then the story of Adam, you see, alayhi salam, peace be upon him, was given as an example in the Qudsi or something like this. It says that when Adam was created for many years, we're not gonna really mention numbers much or something. So for many years, you see, Adam was creating like thousands of years or something like this prior to when the Creator, breathed of its own spirit into the nostril of Adam or something like that. So the minute that Allah or God or Most High or whichever the attributes we call that energy or something like that, breathed of the spirit into Adam, and then the spirit went into his nostril, it go up to his eyes, and then he sees the eyes open, and then he sees the garden and sees the angels, he see what's going on the outside. Or so, but before that, he was clay. You see what I mean? He stood tall as a statue of clay. So now, the minute that he goes down to the mouth, and then the mouth activates and go down to the heart activates, and then go down to the bellies, and then right away the belly crumbles or something like this, or make that noise of like it's hungry. You see what I mean? And then when it's hungry, it was as the spirit or the energy is moving down his limbs, the legs, he rushed to make a move because he saw, a fruit. We're not gonna say an apple because we like to say an apple, but we wanna say a fruit. He saw a fruit and then knows that it's hungry. He already know to go for the fruit, but the legs were not fully activated, and then he fell or something like this. You see what I mean? So the thing is like is to show you, and then Allah, the Creator, laughs, and then all the angels and stuff like this, and the witness or something like this, the activation of Adam, they all laugh too, and then Allah says, "Man is created, lo, man is created in haste." You see what I mean? Because the laws didn't come prior, as we see, but as it's happening, Allah is only recording the actions and what's happening. Because time, most of the time, is not really controlling us or doing us anything, but it really is just like the egg or the chicken, really. You see what I mean? Except that what we do affects time, just like, then times affects us in return. You see what I mean? Or something like that. So we need to understand that the speeding up of time, we cannot. I myself personally don't want to take it as a positive thing whatsoever, because when I really look in the reality, questioning or thinking or pondering about those statements, I realize that those who have time are the ones who can afford it. You see, time is the highest commodity. So if you're rushing, it shows that you do not have time. It shows you on the bottom of things. You see what I mean? I mean, you don't have the currency. It's like you're poor. You're not rich if time was the only currency, which is why we rush it. Or should I say we have it, but we waste it. The rush will come in missed investment or something as a misinvestment. So the thing is like basically, I would realize many great rich millionaires, billionaires, they go they tend to only listen to the ones who are at peace with themselves and not in haste in time. And then they go to the gurus or something like this because they just sit still peacefully. They're not rushing. They don't have anywhere to grow, nothing to be. You see, or something like this. They're just enjoying the moment for what it is. You see what I mean? And then they cannot help but seeing beauty in that and power in that. Something that they, with all the money they have, they cannot find a way to afford. It's like it's still too expensive. The more they rush themselves, the more they get, they gather more wealth and stuff like this, the more time becomes to them more unaffordable. You see what I mean? So, which is why they go for how do we get time? And then that's how they started learning about meditation. And then they started learning stillness and stuff like this. And then after they learn stillness, what happens? That's when the businesses become greater and their lives become better or something like this. Why? Because they learn to just let things be, and then let time be or something like that. You see what I mean? Which is why, as the leaders of their own corporation, they may have the CEO running amok, but the true owner with the last word, first thing they do in the morning is meditate. And then they may meditate all day or something because they afford that time to self, because that's what allowed them to be ahead of time, to be better than any other in time. You see what I mean? So we don't want to give ourselves that thought that the hastiness of time and see it as something positive or something good. There may be time we need to haste, or we need to rush or something like that. You see what I mean? But it's not something that we should always take as a gift. We should give ourselves time. You see what I mean? And which is why the sister Osset was talking about something about the turtle and the rabbit yesterday. That was so beautiful. You see what I mean? It's just like she reminded us that the turtle, you see, may take longer, but once it's come, everybody wanna hear the journey, because the turtle really, savor the journey. You see, it didn't just rush through it just to reach a goal. The one who reach it first, yes, everyone will applaud and will, I mean, as you come by yourself, you haste, and then they see you back and they're happy you made it first or something like this. But you don't have much to offer except that you see what I mean, you rushed, and then whatever it is that you are now, you are. But when the turtle come, then all the attention will come to the turtle, because people, you rush with it as you rushed yourself to the end of something like this. So the same way you cause people rush the enjoyment of who you are and what you bring, which is you bring that energy to yourself. And then after the turtle will slow, now anyone who's gonna enjoy that turtle is gonna have to enjoy the turtle as slow as the turtle enjoyed the moment. You feel me? So that's why we have to understand even also evolution as well. We tend to think evolution is that should be a podcast episode on its own. You see what I mean? But we feel like we might as well just talk about it as we have the chance or something. But if we need to elaborate further or something like this, we would. But I don't think we will have any need for that. So the thing is like the evolution thing. Evolution, like the brother mentioned, is the machines or something like this, where we would not recognize ourselves. From my understanding myself and stuff like this, I can only speak for myself, which is my right or something. So is that why, evolution to machines is not the human evolution, because it's a machine. You see, the human is already a machine. So the only time the machine that we are evolves is as it is organically. You see what I mean? Or something like that. It is something that happens within. It has nothing to do with an external version of that. You see, the machine is simply a creation of man. We may call it intelligent or whatever, but who is intelligent? The one who creates something intelligent, or or the creation, the intelligent creation? You see what I mean, or something like that. So when we speak, we tend to take away our own power, our own beauty, and throw it under the rug and step over it as it is nothing, as if it's nothing. You see what I mean? But in reality, the one who can create something intelligent, what does that say about that being? You see what I mean? But at the same time, to think that what you create as intelligence is better than you, also say something about the creator as well. You see what I mean? Because It's like, why would mankind create anything outside of itself that's gonna be more faster, more intelligent, more this, more that than itself? I see it as a master, let's say a sensei or karate or martial art master that will literally give his students his only, safety move or something. The last move he had in case any disaster happen or his students turn against him or something like this, he will give that to the student. And then, just why would we do such a thing? So sometimes we speak to just allow, be a voice of reason to let us see like how we thinking properly, or if we're not to, if we're missing something. So the job of anyone who's listening is to bring whatever may be missing in whatever we are doing, which is what I'm trying to do at the moment. Because I don't see things like everyone. I'm not the type to just come and worship so easily. I'm gonna literally see if something is missing or whatever it is. You see what I mean? That's the way we are supposed to be. We should never be blindly going with things, because the people that are creating really call on criticism. They want it. They pay for it. You see, I mean, at time they're not really worried about that worship, blah blah blah. They just wanna make sure that they're not overlooking anything, they're not missing anything. You see, that's why they only need those who think around them, not those who just blindly follow. You see what I mean, or something like that. So the thing is like the human evolution has nothing to do with the machine. The machine is simply us creating toys like we do. You see, I mean, we're creators, children of the man of the Most High. Of course, we're gonna create whatever it is. You see what I mean? But as we create, we're still gonna have to evolve regardless, because it's not the creation that is the evolution. You see what I mean? It's what the work you do within. You see, the understanding, the simple math facts, the things that you used to do that you understand now to do better. If your actions used to create hell, so now your action creates paradise. You see what I mean? Because even the movement with the robotics and stuff like this, Hollywood, whom we cherish, doesn't give a beautiful end with the robotics movement. You see what I mean? It shows the machines will go against us. Because as the machines are intelligent, they're not gonna care about us being the creators, like they wanna please us, whatever. If their job is to keep humanity safe, they're gonna realize, just like we do, that humanity is the problem or the cancer of the planet. So what's gonna happen? They're gonna have to get rid of that cancer the best they can. You see what I'm saying? Because if we fail to evolve or something like this, then we're gonna continue to be worse toxic situation to the planet, thereby need to be gotten rid of. You see what I mean? So, and evolution is only what's happening right now. It's us becoming better. You see what I mean? Better human being, able to vibrate higher, transmuting or transcending. The transcendence doesn't come from one matter to another. As you can see, the butterfly, it is the same cocoon that destroy the same self and then reform it. You see, it's not just the butterfly that didn't just take the earth, pieces of the earth, and put them together and then create and call it my evolution. It didn't do that. So we should follow the cocoon or follow the butterfly, you see, and then allow our own vessel. It doesn't matter if we don't see how that happens, how it's done. The caterpillar doesn't know how the butterfly is gonna look like. You see, yet it still trusted the process and then undergo it anyway. You see what I mean? So the thing is, like, we have to just do the same. We cannot expect to create the machines or whatever, blah blah blah. You see what I mean? And then thinking we do something with ourselves. We don't do anything with ourselves. We still need to evolve regardless. You see what I'm saying? The machines obviously evolve themselves, so we within themselves. You see what I mean? So we have to do the same thing. You feel me? So the thing is like, it's just, you see, as much we love science, we love the evolution of science. We love all of these things. You see what I mean? But at the same time, we have to think for ourselves. We cannot lose ourselves in the glory or glorifying of what we do for fun. You see what I mean? As though there's no criticism about it or no second thought or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is like, basically, it's just it's already happening. You are evolving, and then the more you trust the process, the cocoon process, or something like this, however you call that process, the more you know you will realize yourself, and then once you become that which you're supposed to, then you will see that it was all worth it in the beginning. But it has nothing to do with anything outside. You see what I mean? It is within, and it's strictly within. You see, because that's the only reason for existence anyway, to live, learn, graduate, and move on to a next level or something like this. But the next level is not like we say, it's not unlike what the butterfly does. It's just like the butterfly does. It happens with the same cells, the same things, the same organic machines that we have, that because of a different vibration, now we form itself to experience a new self. You see what I mean? That's simply what evolution will be for us. So graduating from one level to another will be for us. You see what I mean? Not saying that we're not to create, take out of the earth, the resources and create whatever we do. That's our choice. That's we can do whatever the hell we want. It is our plane. It is our planet. It is our garden. Whatever we do, what we feel, because that's the gift from our fathers and mothers, right? But the thing is, like at the same time, we can do, we have free will to do whatever we want. We also have to accept the consequences of what we do freely. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. There's no, everything comes with its downturn or something like that. That's why we have to be smarter. We have to think better. And then, as like we said earlier, the scientists are in their passion. This is what they love and stuff like this. Of course, they're gonna just do this. You see what I mean? So that's why they need and they call for those who are, not on the field, but thinking ahead or something like this, and allow them to see something they may have missed or something like this. We help each other doing that. I mean, of course, those who come to worship and to glorify, that's the best they can offer. They deserve the glorification, of course. But at the same time, the very few that comes to think, help the scientists think, they have to make sure to feel free to do that as well, because we all in this together. We serve one another. You see what I mean? So that's what it is. So that's the message we wanted to give on that and stuff like this. So we hope we didn't hurt anybody's feelings today or something like that. And as we always, if he hurts me, then he hurts you. But it did not hurt me, so I hope he doesn't hurt you. You see what I mean, or something like that. So the thing is like. But if, as we hear ourselves, we ponder upon our own words, we feel some type of way, then we will recognize that you so too. Then we'll do our due diligence to second episode to come, and then make sure to clarify and elaborate further or something like this. So with that being said, we say happy Easter to all the beautiful families out there, everyone. You see what I mean? We thank you for having listened, paying attention to us, the greatest, currency indeed. So we thank you for that, for your divine presence, and we hope you evolve continuously, because we just gotta remember, if you are rushing, it shows that you don't know the aspect of yourself that is time itself. You see, it is not in time, but it is time itself. You see, as time is the measurement of the movement of the being. You see, in space. You feel me? So if we don't understand ourselves, then we will rush ourselves, because we think something is after us, or we think we have a limited time to do things. But in reality, there's no limit. You live and you die, and death is nothing but a point of transmutation in time. You see, we transfer your energy to one point, from one point to another, which happened in less than a second. You see, it doesn't even it's too big. Second is too big to explain how fast this process happened. Just like Brother McKenna was even, was it McKenna or a scientist we shared recently? We put that like 4 o'clock in the morning. We were listening to some scientific thing that YouTube suggested to us, or something like physicist, a great physicist from Canada or something like that. And then he was talking about the black hole. We shared it on our page. Though we shared the McKenna video here, but we didn't think we're gonna mention that, but we did share it on our page, where he was talking about the black hole or something, and then he was taking the fish as going down the drain, in the spiral of the water in the drain, going down the drain. So to the one who don't know what's on the other side, they see the fish disappear and they think it's gone, it's done with or whatever. But the fish is gonna continue to experience something, continuously on the other side as well. You see what I mean, or something like that. He was trying to explain the black hole, and he done so beautifully. which is why we shared it or something like that. So it's the same thing too. When people see you go, the energy leaves one hole, which is the eyes that they used to look, or something like this, the window to the soul, or whatever we used to say, or something like this. They see the energy or the spirit leaves that vessel or that avatar. They think on the other side is done with, or something like this. But the spirit continues to experience. You see what I mean, or something like that. You feel me? So that's what it is. We just gotta take away the limitations to thinking that we are out of time or something like this. We are lacking something or something, so that we can learn to see the gifts, the beauty of life for what it is. You see what I mean? So, wholeness, have a beautiful Sunday with your family and a wonderful week ahead, a very prosperous week indeed. So, this your brother V, something on your beautiful platform, V Podcast or C'est la V Podcast. You can find us on YouTube at VTV, or something like this. Help us grow our, subscribers so that we can minimize or find a way. Because I think you need at least 1,000 subscribers in order to have your unique code. We want to make it YouTube.com/Selavi or something like this, where people can comment, or YouTube/VTV Studios or VTV channel. We want to give it those names so that when you code it, and then you go straight to it. But of course, like we say, if it is gold, the planet is, I mean, the platform is gold, then you have that work. You see, I mean, to share and to allow more people to come and benefit from what we say and stuff like this. If you find it necessary for yourself, or something like this, and then you help it that grow, so that we can, and in turn, it will be easier for you to even find or whatever and stuff like this. And of course, whatever else we have to offer will unfold after that. That's the same thing as when you take the gold as it is valuable in itself, which you or not with you, and then you do the proper work, taking away the things that are blocking you from seeing the beauty of the gold. So then now the gold can serve you in innumerable ways. You feel me? So that's how life works. If you feel something, just like Muji said recently, if you when you wake up into the world, if you see something wrong, it means that you need to fix it, because you the one that sees it wrong. You see what I mean? So that's what I feel I was doing anyway. So that's why I thank him for the reminder and the confirmation. So that goes for everyone as well. If you see anything wrong in reality, it means you need to do something about it. So let's find that solution to everything we see wrong, and then let's move on together, because collective is important. But the only power in numbers is its ability to move as one. So we hope, maybe we may have to continue talking about collectivity. Maybe there may be a part two to this part, to collectivity or something. But we just think it is what it is for now. You see what I mean? So thank you. We'll see you soon. Wholeness, balance, and harmonious vibration. One love. Travel well.
Thank you.